Wednesday, July 12th, and I'm so excited to be here live with you talking about hamstrings today. So I'll just take a couple of moments to let everyone trickle in. If you are watching live, I would love to hear from you. So type in the comments. I'll start. Hello, hamstrings time. Oh, here we go. So if you are here live, please go ahead and pop hello in the chat, in the comments, and we will get started soon. I just want to give everyone a few moments to come in and settle onto the mat, or if you're just practicing in your office and you have running shoes on, or you're comfortable to take them off. Often I find when I'm doing a mindful movement practice, aka yoga practice, I really like to have my barefooted, so that I can really feel the ground. And oh, my battery's gonna die. 1 second. Let me just plug my computer in so that we don't lose connection with each other. There we go. For those of you who are new to me, welcome. Thank you for joining the Redefining Aches and Aging for Women's group. I'm Tatiana and I run this group, and in just a minute or two we'll get started with our hamstrings. In the meantime, I'll just introduce who I am and what I do. So again, I'm Tatiana, and I am the founder and creator of the Move with Ease method. It is a special program I've created to help women overcome traditional, stereotypical aches and pains of aging. We don't have to feel like we're 80 when we're only 40 or 50 or 60 or even 70 or even 80, right? It's available to us to feel confident, free, and be able to use our bodies and move with ease and not feel stuck and stiff and sore and in pain. So I'm super excited to get into our hamstrings workshop. If you have any questions, if you are watching the replay, you can also ask questions. Make sure you tag me, or just type it in the comments below and I'll be sure to check. Okay, let me see. Oh, this is kind of cool. So maybe I'll post a question. What is your favorite hamstring stretch? Lying down, leg up and hold. In a seated posture and folded. Okay, so there's actually a ton of different ways to stretch your hamstrings. So today we're going to explore some ways. But remember, I always say this, practice makes practice. So it's not like one and done. And second, it's not all or nothing. So, if something I show you today doesn't feel good or doesn't resonate with your body, you can always back off a little bit, try the modification, or just try a different way. Our bodies respond to different challenges, different kinds of movement, different directions. So I'm going to do my best to offer a few things that you can try to open up your hamstrings. But there's also a lot of different other ways if these don't work for you. And you can always pop me a question. I'm happy to show you modification. I've been a physiotherapist and a yoga instructor and a health mindful movement coach for several years. So I have a lot of experience with lots of different bodies and limitations and injuries and pain to be able to make sure it is accessible to you, accessible to everyone. Now, having said that about opening hamstrings, it's also really important that we strengthen our hamstrings. I think a lot of people think of yoga as just stretching, but the cool thing about yoga is that we can be stretching yet strengthening in that position. So it might feel like a stretch, but if we engage the muscles, we're getting that push pull, we're getting flexibility and strength at the same time, which is really great because it's like two birds, one stone. Good bang for your buck. All right, without further ado, let's get started. If you are here, just a reminder to pop a hello and say hi to me. I'd love to hear where you're watching from, and perhaps you can type in the poll, what's your favorite way to stretch your hamstring, if you ever stretch it. And there's my yoga mat, so I'm going to be there. And if you have yoga blocks, these are really handy to help you with your movement practice. And if you don't, that's okay. You can just grab the wall for support, or a small step stool, or even a chair to hold on to. And if you don't have any props, that's okay. Some of it you'll just have to be really aware of your balance. All right, so I always love to start movement, mindful movement that is, with connecting to my breath. So we're going to do this together. Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and ground your feet, whether or not you're in shoes. You want to feel your big toe joint, baby toe joint, and your heel rooted into the earth. And go ahead and close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. And just notice your breath. Try to do inhales and exhales all through the nose. You might have been in a class where they say in through the nose, out through the mouth. And there's good reason not to do that, actually. I won't get into it now, but I have another workshop that you could watch all about breathing and why it's important to go through your nose. And if you're curious about that, let me know. I'll tag you in that workshop. It's in the guides. So here we go. We're going to breathe in and out through our nose. And we're going to go ahead and just bring our awareness, so your mind, to your hamstrings. Let's see if you can feel your left and right hamstrings. Really try to sense where they are in space. Notice if they feel tight or pleasant or unpleasant, or maybe they feel loose, or maybe you just feel the cool air circulating around your legs. Or you can feel the cloth of your tights touching the skin of the hamstrings. We're just bringing awareness to the area first. Really important to bring awareness there. And we're going to set an intention to just really love our hamstrings right now and accept them where they're at. And in the practice, if we notice that, they're tighter than we thought, or a little more painful than we thought, that's okay. We're here to just address it with some kindness. I know that might sound weird if you haven't practiced this way before, but it's so important to have a positive mindset towards ourselves, towards our own bodies. Okay, really important in the process of healing. So if it sounds weird and woo-woo, just try to trust it and try your best to use your breath to really bring awareness to your left and right hamstrings. Here we go. We're going to take an inhale and lift our arms up. And then as you exhale, soften your knees for me. Make sure your knees are bent. And we're going to forward fold forward. Now, if you experience back pain a lot, you might actually feel a lot of back sensation and nothing in your hamstrings. So if that's the case for you, really try to bend your knees more than you think you need to. And again, if you can't reach the ground, that's okay. This is where blocks or a chair come in handy. You can use your hands on the blocks or the chair, okay? And when we forward fold like this, the main sensation in this posture should be a stretch in your left and right hamstrings. Again, if you're someone who has been experiencing lower back pain or stiffness and soreness, you might get here and say, oh my gosh, like I just feel everything in my back. And that's because when you sit a lot, or you're not as open as you could be in your back of your leg, your hamstrings, something has to compensate, which is the lower back, right? It's all that back side, back chain of your body. And so when that gets, when this is tight and stiff, something has to give. And that's why that lower back may be causing you some grief. So if that is the case, you're going to bend your knees more than you think you need to and try to glue your tummy to your thighs and then lean a little bit down. Be careful if you get dizzy, make sure you're aware of that with your head down lower than your heart, right? And then start to really tilt your sit bones. So if you know your sit bones, they're just those bony prominences on your bum. You're trying to tilt those towards the sky, but your head is coming low, okay? And this is pretty intense. So if that's too much, you can back off, right? Using your blocks or that chair. And we're just gonna breathe into the left and right hamstrings one more time here. And then go ahead and really bend your right one a lot. Okay, so I'm bending my right hamstring a lot, my right knee, and then I'm gonna let my left leg go a bit straighter. And that's gonna cause me to really feel a bigger stretch in my left hamstring, and I don't feel much in my right one anymore, and that's okay because I'm focusing on my left right now. And then while I'm here, I'm gonna play with the position of my back. So as I hold my left leg straight, I'm gonna go ahead and round my back. So notice when you round your back, it kind of maybe relieves that tense feeling in that left hamstring. But then as I pull my belly down, heart up, chest up, this is called flat back in yoga. Now I feel my hamstring, it's really getting that stretch. And then I'm gonna exhale and round my spine. Release. Inhale. Getting back into that stretch. Exhale. And inhale. Good. Go ahead and roll your body up. Try to come up one backbone at a time. And we're just gonna stand tall again. Put your hands on your heart. Hand on your belly and heart. And just notice here, be an observer of your own body. Notice. Do the left and right sides feel different? We just, encouraged a bit more openness in the left side. Maybe it feels just a different sensation. Maybe it feels a bit longer. Maybe there's more awareness in that part of the leg. And let's go ahead and soften those knees, bend forward again. And this time you're going to bend your left knee a lot and keep your right leg straight. Or if that's too tight, you can soften the right knee into a micro bend. But the left knee is way more bent, okay? And so here, start to feel the sensations in your right hamstring. If you're pretty tight in the back of your leg, you might even feel your calf. Whoops. And then we're going to play with the back. So cat-cow, rounding your spine, that's a cat. Inhale, pull the belly down, heart up, chest up, like a cow. That's it, round. That's cat, exhale. Inhale. Let's do one more here, exhale. And inhale, good job. We're gonna soften both knees, ragdoll your body up, stack one vertebra at a time. And go ahead and check in. Maybe now both sides feel a little more similar. Maybe you, through that little bit of movement, notice, my right hamstring's tighter than my left. It's just really good information for you to know your physical body and then connect that to your mental body. Okay, so important for healing. Breathing in and breathing out. So what we just did there was a grounded hamstring stretch. Okay, closed kinetic chain, grounded hamstring stretch. That's very good and it's very functional. You can also stretch your hamstrings not grounded. So I'm going to take this to the mat. So I'm sitting on my bum, then rolling my body safely down. And first I'll have both knees bent up like this. And I'll take my left foot to the sky and hug my leg. If your leg is far and it feels like you have to curl up into a crunch to get your leg, then I would recommend putting a strap around your foot so that you can relax the upper body and the strap is holding your foot. I don't have a strap right now, but you could do that as an option, okay? Now, if you're not feeling much, you can go ahead and lengthen this opposite leg all the way down. If that created too much tension here, so you want to feel a stretch, but it's not painful or straining or, a position that is causing you to hold your breath or feel like your breath is super shallow, then you can maybe bend your knee but have your foot further away from you. Okay, so really so many options here to play with your body and where you could hold your stretch in a way that gives you the maybe a little bit uncomfortable sensation, but not in a painful way. So I always tell my clients 3 out of 10. 10 is the worst, 0 is nothing. You want a sensation of about 3. Slightly uncomfortable, but not unbearable, and you have to be able to breathe in and out evenly through it. So here we are in our left hamstring stretch. I just did a lot of talking, so we did stretch this side for quite a long time. And what I want to show you that's really neat is when you're here, you can turn your leg. So it's just a micro turn, and I like to tell people to use the kneecap as the focal point. So right now I have my left kneecap facing my right shoulder, or I could turn my kneecap towards my left shoulder, and that just changes the angle of the stretch. Remember, our muscles are not 2D, our muscles are 3D. So sometimes you might find that one angle gives you a bit more sensation, or that's the part of the muscle that's got a muscle knot. You know, when a massage therapist is like digging through your knots, and you can find it yourself, and then perhaps hold that angle for your stretch. And that's a really great way to kind of open up through the problematic area in that hamstring. Let's do one more breath here, and then soften your knee. Let's bring it down, and we'll just kind of like lie flat, roll your legs around. Again, if you were feeling your lower back instead of your hamstring during that stretch, then that means you need to give yourself more slack. You need to keep the knee bent up, or you need to soften your knee a bit more so that you're feeling your hamstring and not straining on the lower back. So now we're on the right leg, and we'll start by, holding the leg. Maybe you have a strap. I'm assessing, do I have space to lengthen this leg left a little bit more? Yes, I do today, so here I am. And some days are tighter than others, so it's okay if it doesn't look the same day to day. Try to meet your body, meet yourself where you're at in the moment. That's part of the practice, right? Being present. And then just taking that time to connect back to your breath. How is your breath behaving for this hamstring? I'm turning that knee, my right kneecap towards the right shoulder. Oh, I'm going to try turning it to center, maybe towards that left shoulder. Which angle am I feeling the most sensation? I'm going to get the most for my time here with my hamstring. And for my right leg, I think actually it's turning out a bit. I can really feel some tension there. So I'm going to hold that for a few more breaths. And if you pull the top of your foot down, not your toes, but the top of your foot, try to push it down towards your face so your heel is pressed to the sky. You're going to feel some stuff in your calf too, which is great, right? We're stretching the whole chain of that back of leg. Good. Let's soften that knee down, roll your leg down, and just play around, maybe wiggle things out, maybe lift your arms overhead. Breathe in, breathe out, and come on up back to standing, whichever way you can. And just pause for a moment here. Maybe bring your hand and your hand to your heart and your other hand to your belly, and reconnect to your breath. And just check in right now with how your body's feeling. You came into the practice feeling one way. Does it feel any different? And if it doesn't, that's okay too. It doesn't always have to be this big moment. But trust that even if you can't see the difference, you just created some positive change in the insides of your body, right? You listen to your breath. You brought your nervous system down. You stretch some of the fibers in the posterior chain, the backside of your body. That posterior chain, we spend so much time shortened, right? So if you're someone who sits for work, drives your kids around, sits at night, when we sit, those hamstrings are in a shortened position. We don't often, sit like this, right? That would be a lengthened position. So it's so important that when you're doing your movement mobility practice that you just give a little bit of attention, pay attention, and do the opposite of what your typical day looks like. So I hope that was helpful. Short and sweet today. It was a little bit impromptu, so a little bit shorter than my usual lives, but really accessible. It only took us, 12 minutes to do 2 kinds of hamstring stretches. And I guarantee, as I've noticed and my clients have noticed, it will help you feel different in a positive way in your body, especially if you're feeling stiff or sore or even have aches and pains. So if you have found this workshop really useful and you're struggling with your health goals or your well-being or being able to connect to your body, or you're not sure where to start, how to mindfully move or how to exercise, how to practice yoga, I do offer a Move with Ease assessment call. It's totally free, and it would be an opportunity for you and I to chat on the phone, get some clarity around why what you've tried in the past maybe hasn't worked or hasn't been sustainable, and what your next best steps could be so that you can finally live your life freely without feeling stuck and stiff and sore in your body, and that you can show up, as a spouse, as a mom, as a friend, as a golfer, whatever it is that you wish to show up as. I definitely want to help you. This is my passion. So if you'd like to chat, just type in the comments, book me a chat, and I'll drop you a link to my call scheduler. So again, if you have any questions, hamstrings, any questions, let me know. I'm happy to connect, and I hope you have a great day. Bye for now.